Community work, I think, was really embedded into my family. We were really active in our church growing up, and so I did mission trips and I participated in youth programs, and service was always a key component of what we did as a family, but also school and how we participated in the neighborhood around us. And so much of my activism, so much of my work in the community really was rooted in Catholic social teaching and really a family commitment to social justice. I went to school for public relations and I went to the University of St. Thomas, and so really got the sense that I was being trained up to be an agency executive, to go into public relations and media campaigns and things like that. And along the way, I got caught up in student activism and student organizing, and really started to look around and notice that I was on a predominantly white campus, and I was doing lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender organizing, and also students of color organizing, and really looked around and felt pretty isolated and didn't see a lot of opportunities to be a part of the larger fabric of the campus community. So that inspired a lot of the work that I started doing around student organizing. And that spurred into over 10 years of working at the intersection of race and equity and philanthropy. So I was off doing my work that I was really defining as improving philanthropy, making it more representative, and folks kept saying, "We want you in this conversation about race. We think you have something to add." And I really resisted that for a long time. I didn't want to be labeled as that person. I wanted to be seen as a whole person and not just someone who was there to talk about race because I was a young person of color. What I realized was the opportunity to be at those tables in those conversations gave me a chance to pose big questions, to think with leaders in a different way, and to really push a field that had taken care of me and welcomed me in to think bigger about how it was addressing community problems. And that often meant, which communities are we missing? And have we explicitly started to address race in our work? And when I think about what I'm looking forward to or what I'm hopeful about, I think about some of the systemic changes. So I'm hopeful about the women of color that I see running for state office. I'm hopeful about the governor's proposal to increase state funding to address racial disparities. I'm hopeful about the conversations that I'm hearing in philanthropy about targeting communities of color with very specific funding to undo some of the damage. So while we see and hear stories every day about how hard it is, and there's truth in that, it's important to hear about the lived experience and the difficulties. I remain hopeful because communities are keeping pressure on our leaders, and we're electing our own leaders, and we're pushing governors, and we're pushing philanthropic leaders. And so I'm hopeful that our systems are becoming more and more responsive